Hello everyone! Kumusta? This is Che and welcome to my channel, Mabuhay from Philippines. For today's video, I would like to share with you and discuss with you about sunburn or orchid sunburn or sunburn on orchids. And it will be from my experience, from my recent experience, and also to answer the question if sunburn can kill orchids. And honestly, I thought that sunburn is not a serious problem on orchids because the leaves that were sunburnt will just fall and the orchids will just grow new leaves and new growths. But that thought really changed because of my recent experience on my orchids. And to be direct, sadly, but yes, sunburn can kill an orchid, and I will show that to you in this video. For beginners, or for those of you who haven't had an orchid with sunburn, or for those of you who have no idea what I mean with orchid sunburn or sunburnt orchids, orchid sunburn is not a disease, it is a result of too much direct sunlight or even sunlight shock when you have an orchid in shady location and then you transfer it directly to direct sun for a period of time. They will get burnt spot on their leaves or on their body. And most plants and most orchids can recover easily from sunburn, but the spot or the damage on the leaf or on the body will be permanent. And in my experience, I have an orchid which died because of sunburn or orchid sunburn or too much direct sunlight. Orchids or most orchids can take direct sun, but they have to be trained, they have to be acclimatized, or they have to be used to direct sun because even the so-called direct sun orchids or orchids for full sun can still get sunburn if they are shocked or if they were in shady location before and then transferred directly to direct sun. Please note that the things that I am saying here are based on my experience and also based on our weather, our climate, and environment. And for those of you who are new here, I live in the Philippines. We are near the equator, so it can be really hot here. All of my orchids are grown outdoors and we installed shading net to protect them from direct sun. But before, when we just transferred all of my orchids here, we only installed shading net to protect them from direct sun during noon. We didn't think about the direct morning sun, that it can still be harsh for the orchids, especially because my previous garden was covered with shading net. I was really worried about my tolumnias because they are tiny orchids. They look so fragile and most of my tolumnias were bought as single tolumnias. Thankfully, they are now recovering and even flowered for me. Most of the sunburnt tolumnias were the oldest fans and now they are growing new growths or new fans, but I did lost one single tolumnia. Look at this tolumnia, she looked very sad, and this is the only tolumnia which I bought as semi-clump. She was bushy, she looked very healthy, and look at her now. I hope that she can still recover, but most of the oldest fans were also sunburnt. This is my other orchid which died because of sunburn aside from the tolumnia. And I will just post a picture of how the sunburn looked like before. This is my VANDA buxali. It is a native orchid here in the Philippines and I am very sad about it. She has no sign of life at all now, and she was very, very healthy. Thankfully, I have a double, but still, I am really, really sad about it. Now, I can say that sunburn is really, really harmful, especially for orchids that are monopodial like vandas and phalaenopsis, because if the sunburn will hit the stem or the body of the orchid, this might happen. It might die, and for my orchid, it did die. So please be careful. I will tell you and I will show you how you can avoid this. I also have a Vanda here, which is sunburnt. This is my other miniatum, and as you can see, she is sunburnt. She looks healthy, she looks fine because the leaves look healthy, but when I press the body or the stem, I can feel that it is already damaged. It feels mushy, and I think that this will just be a waiting game. Even the roots are already dry. Only the leaves are hanging, and I think that this will not last long. If you want to grow your orchids outdoors without shading net, in full sun and in direct sun, you can do so by first gradually exposing your orchids to direct sun, and never to transfer them immediately to your outdoor garden in full and direct sun, because they will be sunburnt or they might burn. Especially if you know that your orchids are from shady location, and even if you are not sure, better be careful than to regret, just like what happened to my orchids. You can also watch the videos of Orchid Doc and Precious Blooms Jamaica on how they grow their orchids in full and direct sun. And for me, I am growing my orchids outdoors. I have different kinds of orchids. I can train my orchids to take full sun, but I have orchids which will do best in shade. So we installed shading net, and to solve the problem, we installed additional shading net. So we installed second shading net here to protect them from late morning sun, and we also installed shading net at the side of our wall or our fence to protect them from early morning sun. For sunburnt leaves, you can take a scissor or a cutter, a clean one, and sterilize it and cut away the sunburnt leaf or just the damaged part of the leaf to save the undamaged part of the leaf. You can also just leave it as is and just wait for the leaves to drop. But for me, I like to cut away the damaged part of the leaves. And here's the file now. I think that the sunburn also damaged the stem because I can feel that it is hollow in this part, and there is also something that grew here, and I'm not sure if it's a spike or a keiki. This leaf still turned brown, and I think it is because of that part of the stem which there's a sunburn. For this Cattleya, which we cut off the sunburnt leaves, the sunburn or the damaged part did not progress. But this is how the leaves look like now. And that's all for today. I hope that this video will be of help to you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Also, please leave a comment below. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for watching. Maraming salamat. Paalam. See you on my next videos.